Jeff. Thanks for checking out the channel. As I said, here on a very cold Michigan day, doing a couple things for my Bronco to give it a little bit of paint protection. So one of the things I did is a film from Xpel, pre-cut film that I put up on the hood. I'll show you a video of that. I didn't do an install video just because it's kind of hard to have the camera anywhere close to the hood while you're spraying and running around trying to flatten out the film if you're doing this solo. But I'll show how it lays out on the hood. It's a really nice looking piece of film. It's basically invisible, of course. And I think it's pretty easy to install if you're doing this yourself, and it's a very cheap option going out and having a shop do Xpel film protection for your car, which can, just a front end protection can be $500, $700 easily, where you can go out and buy the film online for a lot less. In addition to the film on the hood, I'm putting Xpel's door sill guard on my two front door entries here. It's pretty easy to install. This comes in a 60-inch length. You can buy it on Amazon and stick it on yourself. And so I'm going to just show you a bit how to work with the film here. What I'm doing with the film is just putting it up from kind of the curve of the back side of the door all the way to the front end of the door sill here. The film is only 2.75 inches wide, and this whole sill right here is about 3 inches. So I decided to install the film down a little bit, rolled over the edge to kind of give the corner protection where you might scuff your foot. And I let the film fall short of where the vertical rise here on the inside of the door jamb is against the vehicle. But anyway, it's pretty easy to install. I use two 26-inch lengths out of this film, so a 26 for either side. And it gives you a little bit of leftover, but I think it's a perfect fit to cover the bottom of the door. When you're installing the film, as they tell you on the back of the package here, you just want to put 3 or 4 drops of just a basic dish soap, like Dawn is what I use, into 1 quart, which is 32 ounces. I use just distilled water, so I'm getting any hard water deposits underneath. So fill this thing up, put 3 drops, in my case, of Dawn detergent in this. And this is what you want to use to keep your film nice and wet. So if you try and pull the film off with your dry hands, it's easy to get fingerprints into the adhesive. So you want to remove the back of the film off of the Xpel. So just get your fingers wet so you're not printing everything out. Get the surface wet that you're going to put it on. Keeping your hands nice and wet, and then once you get it separated, just keep it wet. And then it will float around a little bit for you. Keep the top of the film wet, so when you're squeegeeing it, you won't scrape up or damage the film. Here's where the edge is. I'm going to let it roll over the corner a little bit, just because that's where I'm going to most likely cut that corner with a dirty boot. You can get squeegees and stuff like this and all kinds of kits at Home Depot. And then when you think you have it kind of laid out, just gently squeegee it out. Some of them have a felt on it, so it's kind of a nice way to help force out water as well. I also cleaned this per the instructions before I tried to put this on with just a microfiber and a bit of isopropyl alcohol. Just make sure there's no wax or anything on here that would mess up the bond. And once you get the main part on, you just start rolling out the edge over the corners. It takes a little patience, but if you just keep working it. As you get the moisture out from underneath it, it will start bonding to the paint. You just slowly work out all the air bubbles. And when you're done, you'll have a few air bubbles in there, like really small ones. Just leave them alone. Let it set for literally like a week or so. You'll see the water will evaporate and it will end up becoming all in contact. If you really have a problem after like say a week, you can go in there with like a sewing needle, a super fine pin, and just barely poke a tiny hole in it. And that will let the air out and you can move it down. But generally, any of the really fine bubbles you get in it, you'll see them just disappear over the course of a week or so. So have some patience. Don't overwork the film. If you get a small bubble stuck in there and you keep working, you might tear, stretch, or damage the film trying to get a bubble out. And once I'm getting it pretty well bonded where I want, and I start just using microfiber to get rid of some of the water, it'll make it a little easier to see where you've got bubbles and you're not just looking at beads of water on the film. But I mean, literally in a couple moments, you can see how easy that was to put in. And this stuff is really great. I had it on my last truck over the course of several years on it and never scraping the paint. I mean, it's just really durable material. To me, it's just an outstanding investment to do in about 15 minutes. A little time off to protect your vehicle. And the film edge, the bottom edge, is right where my fingernail is touching the edge. So you can see it just comes around this corner, which to me is the biggest risk of scratching your paint, coming in and cutting that corner. And then the top edge of the film is right here along my fingernail. So I don't have much of a worry about scraping in here. It's more stepping into the vehicle and someone putting your foot down flat on this and catching the corner. Use a really bright flashlight and it really put it down low, and it's a lot easier to see little bubbles and imperfections, and you can work them out a little bit better. But this really helps highlight any bubbles I have, big ones that I can push out real easily. Just using the squeegee to roll it down around the corner, press out the remaining bubbles and water, and as you do that, it just bonds tighter and tighter to the paint. Just a little moisture like that helps lubricate the top of the film. So again, I don't want to scrape or damage the film on top. It just helps me. One last time here, make sure I'm pushing everything out. So that's the film installed. You can see it's really invisible. I've got a really bright light on it to help you see the edge. So there's an edge there. I've got a little water moisture on here still. But my bottom edge is right there, and the top edge, my finger's running along. So you can see from above, Mesa gets this corner round down in the flat spot where you'd put your foot. My fingernail is running across the edge of the film right there. And here's the driver's side door, just so you can see the other side of the install on the door sill guard from Xpel. See all the sand and grit of my formats in there, the perfect reason to go ahead and protect your paint from the accidental scrape of a shoe or boot as you climb in here. I've got a really nice bright light so you can see where the edge comes in right here, just like on the other side. And it comes up about right where my finger is blocking to the right edge of my finger. So Gives a nice protection all the way, and it's rolled down on the edge on this side, just like on the passenger side where I installed it. So basically invisible, easy way to protect your vehicle. So here's the front of my Bronco with the pre-cut Xpel film that I installed. I've had this on for 3 months. After I first got my Bronco, I wanted to get it on right away. I was torn on getting some kind of front edge lip. There's a couple different products you can get, but I really didn't want to change the look of the Bronco, but I wanted a serious bit of protection on the front here. You can see this film comes on and just totally disappears. You can't see it with a casual eye where the cut or seam is on it when you walk around. I'll go ahead and put some masking tape on it here and show you exactly where the real limits are, but it totally comes up underneath the hood. It comes in about 1/4 inch from the edge here, and my finger, if I can find it, my finger right here is at the edge of it. So it basically hits the round down or the bend, the front leading edge of it.